that the experience that I have of living in Etobicoke, Ontario, Toronto, suburb of Toronto, in a decent house, a lovely house, nice garden, I got 2 cars in the driveway, and I can say, I have the privilege to say, I'm going to get away from this all, and I'm going to get away from my luxury, and I'm going to sleep on the ground. And what a novel experience that's going to be. And that's a real privilege to be able to do that. And it's a privilege that not everybody enjoys. And so that inspired me to explore the many ways that people experience tent, often beyond the recreational camping experience. There are people that have to sleep in tents, not because they chose it, but out of necessity. They've been displaced. There's a war in their country. Perhaps they are victims of violence, and they're fleeing something. And to be honest, the very last thing they would say for a holiday is, let's go sleep on the ground. And so that really, for me, reinforces this idea that it is a true privilege to be a camper, a recreational camper. Tents, these 7 tents together, I think they make a very interesting and I think it's a really wonderful geometric shape. And there's 7 tents that reveal 7 words. So as it goes around, there are 7 words that reveal themselves with a light behind it. And those are 7 themes that are in the show. Only one of which is recreation. That's one theme. But another theme is resistance or resilience. These are the other, they happen to be our words. I don't know, that just worked, and I like alliteration. So this piece at the beginning of the show is kind of the key to the whole show. And for me, this is really the state of the world. It is flashing a warning to us in so many levels around politics and the environment and Indigenous issues and just injustice in general. And so I see that as being the state of our world. But if I had to explain to people, so why do I go camping? I would say, well, out here, tethered out in space, I got to get away from this. And so there's a little floating tent, a little blue tent floating out in space that is just a representation of my escape from the chaos of this. That was the inspiration for the piece, and then the mechanism below was how I powered the whole thing. At first I thought, well, maybe I should put a motor in here that just gets this thing continuously flowing. But then I thought, no, I really want the viewer to feel like they are having an impact on this. Their mother and father, and they had to flee, and they lived in a refugee camp for an extended period of time in a tent in really not very good conditions at all. And they finally made it to Canada, and the Canadian government rewarded them by sending them to camp. And here they're having an awful lot of fun at camp, and they were not canoeing in southern Turkey when they were in a refugee camp, for sure. But the idea of camping having such a different context really fascinated me.